All right, let's now head to Edo State, where the House of Assembly Speaker, Blessing Agbebaku, along with other key PDP members, recently defected to the APC. The Speaker said the move was aimed at aligning with Governor Monday Okpebholo to fast-track development across the state. Agbebaku praised the governor's developmental focus, citing the construction of Uhonmora Secondary School and 3 major roads in Owan West local government area as signs of inclusive governance. Beyond the party labels and power plays, let's now find out what this defection means for the people of Edo State. Joining us to shed more light on this discussion is legal practitioner Ilemona Onoja. Good morning, Ilemona. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me, Olive.
All right, let's get your initial reading when you heard of the defection to the APC. It does seem like hurricane defection has touched Edo State. And what were your thoughts, your initial political and legal reading to this move?
Politically, it wasn't one that had a lot of surprise because this has become one of those things that happens in Nigerian politics, where people given mandates by the electorate take those mandates to serve their own political interests and just move with those mandates willy-nilly. Legally, it is a little bit of a surprise that we still allow these things happen, because all the way in our constitution, all the way up to the Supreme Court has said it very clearly: you cannot be a member of a political party elected on the platform of a political party into the legislature, and then you disappear with the mandate given to you by the people and take that into another political party. It's already resolved at the highest courts of our land that these things continue to go on, and that there's a lot of chest beating and boasting about it. It's indicative of, and this is going to be a political statement, the reverse Midas touch of the APC, where we ignore the provisions of the law, we ignore the declarations of our court, and then we just bastardize all the institutions that we find. It is, I think, at this time one of those things where it's just evidence of how far back the APC as a leadership is taking this country, where the decisions of the Supreme Court that they just openly, blatantly, brazenly ignore.
I still want to push back on, the response, and also just to further press in on the explanation the Speaker gave, basically saying he's aligning with the governor to ensure that progress comes to the state. This is not the first time we're saying that reason. In Delta State, for example, we saw that when Governor Sheriff Oborewori and the former governor Ifeanyi Okowa moved to the APC, part of the reason given was they wanted to align with Abuja to ensure they bring prosperity to the state. So what do you make of this defense? Because we've seen it the first time, it's flown, we've seen it again happening, and if nothing happens, that might be the reality that we'll see across the country.
And are they not just being pragmatic?
We have to say that if there's anything, this is indicative of how badly run this country is under the APC. This is indicative that if you're not a member of our political party, you do not get any developmental dividends from the government. And that in itself, by that admission, that you have to belong to a cult, where before there is any sort of development that will come to your country from the national purse, from national patrimony, we will not give you access unless you come and kneel and kiss the ring. What these people are telling you is we've decided that we're going to be servants. We've decided we're going to be slaves. Because apart from doing this, there's no way anything will come to us. That in itself is very antithetical to the concept of representative government. For anybody to come out boldly, chest beat, and say, the only reason why I'm coming here is because if I don't come here, my people will not get anything. It's a shocking admission of bad governance. It's a shocking admission of maladministration. It's a shocking admission of the personalization of government for the purposes of self-aggrandizement. I think that the people who said should get embarrassed. I think that the people about whom it was said should be embarrassed. If we had a proper governor, what government, I mean, it's a government of the people, for the people, by the people, all the people. It should be the government of Nigeria, it's the federal government of Nigeria. For anybody to say that, oh, unless and until we join the APC, nothing will come to our people. Shame.
All right, but they would argue as well. I mean, the same governors, the same members of cabinet of the governors who are defecting, like some of them that we've had on the program, they would say that, I mean, Section 68, 1A, allows for any member of a political party to move to another political party, especially if they have internal crisis or there seems to be a problem with that particular political party. And they've cited this as a reason for them to move from the PDP to the APC, because whether we like it or not, they're highlighting the fact that the PDP is currently in crisis. So how do we balance that with the fact that this may in any way affect Nigeria's democracy, and also with the other statement that they've tied to their move, that they have to plug with the center so they can benefit the people more?
I was hoping you would ask that question. If you read the case of Ifedayo Abegunde versus the Ondo State House of Assembly and others, the decision of the Supreme Court was that if for a division in a political party to be acceptable grounds for movement from one political party to the other, that division has to be such that that political party cannot function. That means the political party cannot present candidates for elections. That means the political party doesn't have official business. That means the political party doesn't have staff salaries. The political party probably doesn't have a national working committee or a party leadership. So that is not the case here. It's just very simple, very straightforward. The PDP functions as a political party. The PDP has an acting national chairman, has an acting national secretary. In fact, only recently, the self-same Supreme Court resolved what it said was a leadership dispute in the PDP. Now, there are other there's a plethora of judgments in the Supreme Court that says that divisions, for you to say that there is a division in the political party, must be at the national level. That you don't, it's the national level leadership of the party that determines what goes on at the state level, right? So if we've resolved that the national leadership of the party is sorted, not just by my proclamation or by my statements, but also by a declaration, more importantly, by a declaration of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If the Supreme Court has sorted that out, what are we talking about? In the Edo State PDP, we must remember that this person who, the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, defected, the PDP leadership, even in all across the 16 local 16 local governments of the state, the PDP leadership in all those local governments still remains. The PDP leadership at every level of the structure still remains intact. What division does he speak about? I think it would be better if people just came out to say, it serves my political interest for me to move. I think it would be better for people to come out and say, it serves me, than to come and attempt to pull the wool over the eyes of people in names of things that don't. The PDP, again, the structure remains. There is a state leadership, there's a state chairman, state working committee, and everybody submits to the leadership of the governorship candidate, gubernatorial candidates of the party in the Edo State elections. Dr. Asmi Kodalo, who showed he won the elections. Not only did he win the election, he showed the capacity that he can organize and provide, pending the declaration of the Supreme Court. It's one of our mandates. We can provide alternative leadership. Some people just think it serves me better. But this is the selfishness that we need to root out of our sort of politics. The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, what he has done is rob the people who voted him into office. What he has done is that he has taken their mandate and then he has taken it, of course, to share with a party of people who are proven and will be approving.
Seeing as I want to just refer to what you have just said. You're talking about him having robbed the people of Edo State. Does this again reignite the argument that we saw in Rivers State, where reference was made to Section 109, and the argument was that legislators who have voted on a political party and then thereby defected should forfeit their seat. We saw that happen with the legislators. It was an argument that we saw over and over again. Unfortunately, it's led to an inconclusive state of the legislature or the National Assembly in Rivers State. Do we see a repeat of that happening in Edo State?
It has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it will be that people who stole a mandate are enjoying that mandate and are spending the institutions to preserve that mandate. It will be perhaps one of the most open acts of brigandage ever. Look, again, I say it, Isedayo Abegunde and others versus the Ondo State House of Assembly and others. The Supreme Court is very clear. If you're a legislator elected on the platform of one political party, you cannot go to another political party. If you do so, you must lose your seat, and INEC must declare a by-election. If you're so popular and you believe that you're the one who is, you're this, all that and a bag of chips, go back to the electorate and let them confirm a mandate to you. Instead, what we're seeing is a group of people, and I'm using, and this is the third or the fourth time that I'm going to say it, mandate thieves are taking the mandate given to them on the platform of one political party and running away to stash it with another political party. More important, I'll also add as an addendum, the Supreme Court has held a plethora of times that you vote for the political party, not just the candidate. It is the reason why you have the party logo on the ballot paper. It is the reason why you have the name of the party on the ballot paper. So, having voted for the PDP, what the people of his constituency are going to suffer is the imposition of the APC on them. Ilemona, it doesn't make sense.
Ilemona, you have stated what you think should happen, right? And this was an argument that we saw in Rivers State when the Rivers State House of Assembly was in focus and those members, the lawmakers, had defected and then come back to the party. Regardless of what you think should be the outcome of this move, do you believe that that outcome will be what we will see in Edo State, for example? Or what I'm asking in clear terms is, how they say that the law as it should be differs from the law as is. So do you see the enforcement of all that you said, the reference to the Supreme Court decisions that you've just made reference to? Do you see that happening in Edo State?
Well, I'm skeptical. And I'm skeptical because the APC is proven to be a party of law violators, institution besmirchers, people who just violate institutions, who have no regard for the provisions of our courts, who have no regard for the provisions of our constitution. So I'm skeptical. That said, I understand that, and this isn't just about Edo State. My position is the same about the PDP legislators who moved in Delta, about the PDP. In fact, my opinion is the same about every single legislator, whether you're moving into the PDP or not. My opinion is the same. If you're so confident that you're coming with a popular mandate of the people, encourage INEC to declare elections, go back to the polls and prove your popularity. That is my simple position. And it isn't just my position, it's the position of the law, it's the position of our Supreme Court. I don't see it happening simply because we are governed by people who have no respect for due process, who have no respect for the rule of law, who have no respect for anything, to be honest. That said, in Edo State, I understand that the leader of the party in the state, Dr. Aswe Ighodalo, is quickly rallying people around. There are conversations about going to court to challenge the position, the defection of the Speaker of the House. But more importantly, he's quickly rallying around to provide leadership to people, to show them the pathway to forward. To show them that even if perhaps we are even better off without these sorts of people who have no abiding ideology, who have no sets of principles, who have no commitment to the people that purportedly elected them.
Now, finally, just before we let you go, Ilemona, in all these discussions we've had this morning, there's a huge factor we've left out, and these defections have real-life consequences for the people being governed, who happen to be in the majority, are they consulted, and what implications does it have for the quality of governance? And do the people really matter at the end of the day, or they're just pawns in the grand political scheme that we only remember on election day? Because I don't think majority of those who gave the mandate have been carried along in this decision.
Of course not. Of course not. If anybody is consulted, right, you will not have anybody moving into the APC. If the electorate is consulted, you will not have anybody moving into the APC. We are the most insecure we have ever been. We are the poorest we have ever been. We have the greatest lack of access to education that we have ever had. The greatest lack of access to healthcare that we have ever had. We have the greatest levels of poverty that we have ever had. Nigeria produces, Nigeria houses, Nigeria is the place of residence of the single largest number of malnourished children in the world. In Africa, second largest number of malnourished children in the world. But the poverty capital. You can't, a few weeks ago, a spokesperson to the president, Barrister Daniel Bwala, was mocking a senator, a serving senator, that he cannot go to his host community because Boko Haram will not allow him. And they said that that is fake true. Our money cannot buy us anything. The famous words of someone who spoke to Idi Amin Dada back in the day, our money is almost tissue paper. People don't have access to food. People don't have access to education. If we have a situation where 1.8 million people write JAM, and maybe 70% of that does not score up to 200, meaning they don't score up to 50%, shouldn't we be sitting down? How does anybody tell us we are going to the party that brought you this sorrow, tears, and blood? It makes absolutely no sense. The people are not consulted. They're only consulted on election day when people attempt to buy our votes with 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira. It is the reason why nobody wants to go to a different political party and contest their mandate.
Ilemona, Onoja, the people of Edo State are watching, and you know a number of these actions will then determine what their true belief is, and you know where they stand. The polls will be the verdict, and of course we're still following up with the case. We know that there's an appeal case for Asai Godalo. We know that the governor as well, the current governor, the arguments about his effectiveness. Some will say he's working. The opposition will disagree, but in time, I guess time will tell. Ilemona Onoja, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.